Our celebrities found $1 million next to the masters of music.
Join us to find out Thursday at 8 live on BBC One.
Ian's in shock, and the Wicks family reunion doesn't quite go according to plan. EastEnders in half an hour here on BBC One after Watchdog.
Tonight on Watchdog, the Phantom Phone Company steps into the spotlight.
Reveal the emails that flushed out the truth from Southern Water.
And for pity's sake, stop sending me books. Watchdog, it's your show. Good evening, welcome to Watchdog. You know, it's amazing what you can do with a mobile, isn't it, Jules?
Certainly is, like voting TV presenters off talent contests, for instance.
Or keeping them on.
Or voting them off. Not to mention watching video clips, listening to the radio, playing games, or having jokes texted to you every day. Now, when is a mobile phone company not a mobile phone company?
I'll tell you, Julia, when it doesn't run a network or the services you actually use, but is the silent partner to both. Opera Telecom is the unseen hand behind much of the explosion in the mobile phone content we're seeing at the moment. Unseen, you could almost say, like a phantom.
The whole experience has been quite upsetting.
I've no idea how they got hold of me. It's been the worst experience we've had for a long time.
You know the plot, a sinister figure pulling strings from the shadows. We're talking about another Phantom of the Opera, but one that still has the power to get inside your mind. A power that's hard to resist. Opera Telecom boasts it's the UK's fastest growing private company. How did it grow so fast? Simply by leasing phone and text lines to other companies who use them to provide services. You'll probably never have heard of Opera, but this phantom could be lying in wait for you, whether you like it or not. Joyce Pavia first received unwanted text messages in October.
The messages came every night. I mean, basically, you could set your watch by at 10 to 9 every night. I just ignored them because I thought, I don't know where they'd come from, don't know who's sending them to me. I thought if I deleted them, they'd eventually stop.
They didn't, and the mystery texts were anything but romantic.
It was bordering on the pornographic, really. I would never sign up to anything like that, never have.
And the Phantom insisted Joyce pay for these unwanted messages.
A bill turned up of about £70. I realised I was being charged £1.28 for every single message. I got straight on the phone to Orange.
Orange told Joyce that it was nothing to do with them, but they did know who owned the number that was sending the mysterious texts. Opera Telecom. But like the Phantom, it was only too happy to lurk in the shadows when things went wrong.
I must have called them for 10 days running, different times of the day. Never got to speak to them.
William Bearden had just got a new phone when the Phantom came calling.
I thought it might have been a prank of a friend or something. So it was very explicit and quite vulgar. I just deleted it. I didn't want that sort of thing on my phone.
The messages continued to haunt William. Soon he was getting up to 4 a week, and thanks to the Phantom texter, his wife was getting upset.
She opened up and came running in the kitchen. What's all this about? So I looked at the text, and it was even more explicit than the last text I'd received. And I had to sleep downstairs that night.
O2 told them to take it up with Opera, who said that William had signed up to an adult text service 2 months previously.
It made me feel like I was a liar. I had to prove to myself and my wife that I was not guilty, because that's the way I felt. I felt guilty.
He had no reason to. O2 confirmed in writing that William had not requested this service, but even after that, he kept receiving more unwanted text messages, costing almost £150.
I'm very angry at Opera because they haven't taken responsibility for their actions. They haven't contacted me, they haven't said sorry, they've just left me in the dark.
In the past year, Opera Telecom has been reprimanded no fewer than 10 times by industry regulators ICSTIS and fined a total of £175,000. Amongst their offences, consistently breaking the rules and allowing unwanted premium text messages to be sent. Unfair, says Opera. Not our fault, says Opera. Someone else was singing our lines. It's true the messages originate from Opera's client companies, but Opera share the revenue and legally it's Opera that's liable.
Well, the legislation at present allows Ofcom and Ixtis to fine somebody who has allowed unsolicited messages to be sent out. If there are continuous complaints about particular operators, then I think the sanction that is there at the moment should be used, which is to cut them out of the business and remove the lines.
But the lines that Opera provide aren't just reserved for texts. Keith Chadwick runs a community sport charity in North Yorkshire. He'd never heard of Opera Telecom until someone crept onto his internet line.
We first realised something was wrong when we received our phone bill off BT. And our usual phone bill would be normally £190, and this phone bill came in and it was £400. My first reaction was, who's been making all the phone calls on this?
Keith contacted BT, who explained that his internet connection had been hijacked by a rogue dialer. Normally, when you go online, your computer connects to your service provider via a special phone number. Rogue dialers break that connection, diverting your computer to another, more expensive number. Profitable, but then theft often is.
We thought we were dialing Wanadoo. It was actually dialing a premium rate number. BT couldn't do anything. They said, you know, you must pay the bill, you made the call. We were just going around in circles.
So, how does Opera Telecom fit into the script? Not in the spotlight, of course, but a leading role nonetheless. Opera supplied the phone line the rogue dialers used to hijack Keith's connection.
They don't answer their phones, they don't reply to emails. They want to take our money, but they don't want to reply or be accountable for anything they do.
Opera told us that they take their responsibility as owners of the lines seriously, and in this case cut off the rogue dialers and compensated anyone who lost out. That's news to Keith and his charity. 7 months later, he's still hundreds of pounds out of pocket.
The money that we used to pay that phone bill, we would have used for buying the facilities that we need. I personally thought that they would just ripped us off and, you know, that this was their norm. They weren't going to reply to us. It was our fault. We felt very bad about it, and I felt personally terribly about it.
They ought to ask questions about the people they are subletting their lines to. And after all, they are sharing the revenue. And again, if there is a history of poor performance, then I hope Ofcom, who allocate the lines by the thousands, could say, I'm sorry, but no more lines for this company.
Opera share responsibility for haunting innocent phone and internet users and share the profit. Isn't it time they shared some of the blame?
Personally, I think Opera Telecom are the worst company that I've ever dealt with.
I dread to think how many people this has happened to that haven't even done anything about it.
Every time the phone rings or there's a text message, I don't know whether it's going to be something that's going to be costing me money or affecting my life.
All they ask from Opera Telecom is to be left in peace. But will they?
Now that's singing. So what are Opera Telecom saying? Well, we've been dealing directly with Chief Executive Gary Corbett. He believes it's unfair that companies such as his are liable for the mistakes or misconduct of their clients. Even so, he's toughened up his procedure of vetting companies who lease his numbers and carries out investigations and random checks.
And he does accept that Opera needs to provide better customer care. He refuses to accept the cases we featured in our films have any grounds for complaint. He says they are not his customers, but says he will continue to investigate the cases and the issues that we've raised and rectify any problems. The regulator, Ixtis, says it will go on finding companies like Opera if they provide services for rogue operators, because that's the best way to protect consumers.
Now, imagine you're in a real scrap with a bunch of bureaucrats and you're just hitting a brick wall. They're telling you one thing, but you just know there's more to it. What if you could read all their emails, their private documents and letters?
Well, that's what a group of Watchdog viewers who've been flooded out of their homes asked for when they felt they were getting the runaround from Southern Water. And amazingly, with the help of the Consumer Council for Water, they got them. The results were illuminating, to put it mildly.
We need to move on this one urgently. This is an embarrassing state of affairs.
This is Dacia's Close in Bridgemere. As you can see at the moment, the water has run about 3 feet deep. Earlier this morning, it was even deeper. It would have come up virtually to my waist.
The Notley family from Gosport were swept out of their home last summer.
Now, after 6 months in temporary accommodation, they're finally moving back home. The floodwaters and the decorators are gone, but the memories are still there.
In the space of about an hour, it got up to about a foot, and you could see it was not clean water, it was sewage water.
For a long time we were just sort of walking around not really knowing what to do.
They looked for guidance from Southern Water, the company that owns and maintains the sewers on the estate. But Southern Water blamed the rains, not the drains.
We didn't see Southern Water until 3 days after the flooding, and that was only a drainage engineer.
These are the other residents of Dacious Close. Like the Notleys, they too were flushed out of their homes. Sewage and rainwater submerged their kitchens, their halls, their living rooms. And for many, it wasn't the first time. The street has a history of flooding, and the residents are sick of Southern Water's excuses. They feel Southern Water has let them down.
I mean, we've had no explanation at all from Southern Water for months, really, have we? I think they came, when was it, about a week after it happened?
4 or 5 years down the line, and we're going to have another one.
And what about our insurers? Are they going to keep on insuring us? Are they going to say, oh no, we're fed up with this, you're in a flood area?
We're in the 21st century. We shouldn't have to be worried about flooding. If we're not on a beach or we're not by a river, why is this happening? We have to ask the questions.
They said it was an unusual downpour. It won't happen again, but we know that it probably will because it's happened before.
In fact, it's been happening for over 10 years. Since 1994, Southern Water has received 17 complaints about flooding from the sewers on Dacious Close. And letters to residents reveal that the company knew even then that heavy rain stopped the sewers working properly.
The residents live in fury and fear here. The residents can't go away without worrying about the weather, or it's going to affect their house when they get back. They are absolutely and justifiably furious.
But is it just a question of freak storms, as Southern Water claims? Water from other streets drained within hours of the downpour, but Dacious Close was still submerged the following evening.
At the end of the day, the water has got to go somewhere, and it didn't. 12 hours after the rain had stopped, we still had water in our homes. I mean, what was happening?
Sean was determined to find out. After 2 requests under the Freedom of Information Act and a complaint through the Consumer Council for Water, he got his hands on emails that showed Southern Water had made a big mistake, and they knew it. This is what the emails say.
We need to move on this one urgently. This is an embarrassing state of affairs.
The emails confirmed that the company had known since the 90s that the sewers at Dacious Close needed constant upkeep.
Previous flooding occurred in the mid-90s. We CCTV'd the sewers at the time and found a considerable depth of silt in the pipeline. We set up a routine jetting job to clean these sewers with the intention to monitor the situation.
So the sewers needed regular water jetting just to keep them operational. But with that routine job in place, why did the flooding continue? More emails.
Our team were under the impression that regular maintenance was being undertaken, but it looks like somehow the job was cancelled when data was transferred to the new computer system.
Whoops, the whole maintenance schedule for the sewers at Dacious Close just cancelled. Yep, there'd been no maintenance on the sewers for 5 years.
I had assumed that we were still cleaning the sewers and that the problem had gone away. But it would appear that at some time in the past, someone has deleted the job.
It was as if Sean had rifled through the in-trays of Southern Water, and he couldn't believe the damning evidence he had discovered.
Initially, there was anger. Then there was amazement of the fact that a company can operate in such an unethical way, of actually knowing that there is an issue and a potential future issue, and it not being resolved.
So what to do? Save face by throwing money at the situation?
Can you put some jetting in place by a contractor now? This is an embarrassing state of affairs. Until significant permanent additional resources are made available, we are at the moment at risk of attracting similar scathing criticism from our customers.
While drainage crews were scrambled into action, Southern Water went looking for some urgent legal advice.
Looking into the legal position with regard to maintenance, or lack of, i.e., could we be deemed to be negligent and therefore liable for any costs arising?
Long after the waters had subsided, tempers were still high on Dacia's Close.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, they've contributed heavily to this situation. They've got the resources to resolve the issues. They need to act and resolve the issues.
We are experiencing a lot of pressure from some of the residents and the local councillor for information about maintenance.
But the information was not good. Like all water companies, Southern Water has to have its spending plans approved by Ofwat, the industry regulator, every 5 years. Southern Water say their hands are tied because the repairs at Dacia's Close weren't included in the last application for money. And why was that?
No money has been allocated, as we believe the problem to be controlled by the routine jetting.
Routine jetting, which of course Southern Water forgot to carry out. But would they admit responsibility and pay for the repairs from their healthy profits? No.
The only thing that they did admit that they had significant responsibility for what happened here. Southern Water also said that we may well have to wait until 2014 for anything to happen here.
By that time, Southern Water will have known about the problem for 20 years. The Notleys can't wait that long. They want to sell their house, but have already lost a buyer because of the history of flooding. Until the sewers are repaired, selling the house will be tough.
We have to declare that the property has been flooded in the past, and that will have a fundamental effect on the valuation of the property.
Southern Water should be spending their money now and not leaving it until 2014. The residents are living in fear of being flooded and losing even more of their possessions, and that is not an acceptable situation.
Well, with me now is Niall Mills from Southern Water. Thank you very much for coming in. Niall, I don't have to tell you that this is an embarrassing state of affairs because your staff have said that already. How embarrassed are you about this?
I want to tell you this is absolutely unacceptable to us. We would like to apologise very sincerely to the residents and in particular to the Notley family for the inconvenience that they've suffered.
What are you going to do about it?
We're going to take immediate action to address the issues. So we've got teams on site fixing the maintenance as we speak. We've got more professional teams doing investigations to come up with a long-term, stable solution.
Long-term, stable solution. I think that's key, isn't it? Because again, looking at this internal information, the emails that have come to light, let me quote you. I'm sure you know it already, but just to remind our viewers. Until significant permanent additional resources are made available, we are at the moment at risk of attracting similar scathing criticism from our customers. So we're talking about something pretty fundamental and something perhaps pretty expensive. Are you going to pay for it?
We're going to put in place a long-term solution to this problem. Personally, this is unacceptable.
Well, what is the long-term solution now?
Well, the long-term solution depends on some investigations that we're doing at the moment. We're looking at the flows in the sewers during rainfall. As you know, we're experiencing some very extreme climate conditions. We're in the middle of the driest period for 16 months, and some of the rainstorms we've had in the last couple of years are very intense. I need to understand how the drains perform during those rainstorms so that my team of technical experts can come up with the right solution.
I just wonder, I hope the answer to this question is yes, but if the Consumer Council for Water hadn't made you release these emails, would you be here and would you be saying, we're going to sort this out?
Well, I'd like to be clear about the information. We want to be completely open about the information. We're not bound by all the implications of these.
But if it hadn't come to light, would you be sitting here now saying, yes, we're going to fix this?
If it hadn't come to light, I would be sitting here right now telling you that the customers are top priority for Southern Water, and I want a long-term solution to fix this problem.
So finally, in a sentence and a short one, what would you say to those customers watching tonight who you also saw in that film?
I'd say I'd like to meet you very quickly. You have my personal commitment. We're going to fix this problem.
Niall, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Niall from Southern Waters.
Now, a quick point on the Freedom of Information Act. Technically, it doesn't yet cover water companies, but later in the year it probably will, because even though they're private, they carry out a public function. Now, we've been contacted by people asking us about this product endorsed by Leslie Ash. Now, as you can see, it claims to kill, there on the bottle, MRSA. If it did actually kill the disease, it would be worth every penny of the £4 that it cost.
Yeah, actually, it's a disinfectant gel which smells...
Sorry, I splashed you then.
It's all right, smash me anytime. It smells quite nice and doesn't dry your hands out. Fine as far as it goes, but the body which regulates medicines, the MHRA, has told the maker's matron to change the wording to make it clear it kills bacteria which can cause the disease, and Matron have agreed.
Now, Paul Heine and a company who's most definitely not in his good books.
Everything you could want to know, you'll find in a book. There are books to make you happy, books to make you sad, books to learn things from. It's all here, and in libraries, they're for free. But owning a book is an extra pleasure. It's one thing to borrow Bridget Jones. It's another to know that she's all yours. But they can be pricey. That's precisely the appeal of book clubs. Books of every kind imaginable, delivered directly to your door, and at a fraction of the high street cost. Book clubs are tempting. Very tempting. A book you might pay £15 for in a shop can be yours for just £1. Of course, you have to buy more books, usually 4 or 6, at higher prices. But choose the wrong club, and it could cost you much more than a mere library fine. Some clubs aren't easy to get out of. That's exactly what some members of World Books have been finding out.
Basically, they were doing an offer for 4 books for 4 pence. It was such a discount, I thought it was a bargain.
Rob bought those 4 books and the 4 more he committed to in his contract. Then he cancelled his membership, or so he thought.
After about 2 months, 4 more books turned up, which I hadn't ordered.
And they just kept coming, a further 12 books in the next year.
Lo and behold, yet more books turned up. This time it was accompanied by a bill for £75. Again, I wrote to them and said that I wasn't a member, I didn't want anything to do with them. Then 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call from a debt collection agency who said that I had to pay £115 or they would take me to county court.
All for books he never ordered.
I was livid with them. I couldn't believe that 2 years after I'd finished with the contract, they were still hounding me for books that I didn't want and I had no intention of paying for.
Of course, World Books aren't the only club around. Whatever your interest, there'll be one to suit you. Actually, it's a bit like a Harry Potter trick. All of a sudden, book clubs appear out of thin air. Do you want to get the kids into reading? Look, Books for Children. Ellie signed up with them and bought Charlie here 6 full-price books, just as her contract said.
I'd made it clear right from the beginning that I was only going to purchase the 6 books and then close my account, and assumed that that would be what would happen.
It wasn't. Books for Children told her the books didn't count towards her commitment. Reluctantly, she agreed to buy more books, asking the club to confirm that these new books would fulfill her contract. Books for Children ignored her question and simply said,
"In order for you to fulfill your agreement to us, you need to buy 5 more books."
I found it really frustrating that I could never get an exact answer as to what my commitment entailed.
Like Robert, the club said she hadn't bought enough books, but her house was full of them. She too was sent books she didn't order.
Even though I've cleared it and had confirmation that it's clear and I owe them no money, and then I get more books, which means more money is charged to my account. So it's really frustrating.
Books for Children. They do like to play games, but I bet there's no mucking around here. The History Guild Book Club. How respectable can you get? How infuriating can you get? Andrew loves history and was happy to commit to the terms and conditions of the History Guild Club.
I had to either accept or refuse the editor's choice each month and make sure that I purchased my 4 books within the year.
But Andrew found that even when he explicitly said that he didn't want the editor's choice, they sent it to him anyway. And when you're sent books that you don't want, who covers the cost of sending them back? You do.
That'll be £3, please.
Andrew wanted out. That's fine, said the club, but then, out of the blue, he was told he couldn't leave. Until he bought more books. There's a pattern emerging here, isn't there?
As far as I was concerned at that stage, I'd fulfilled my commitment of purchasing 4 books from them as agreed. They told me that I hadn't fulfilled my commitment despite the fact that I had it in writing.
Andrew is now being told to pay the History Guild a £95 cancellation fee or order more books. While these clubs bombard you with books that you don't want, here's one that doesn't send you the ones that you do. Amanda ordered 4 introductory books from the Arts Guild. The club only sent 2 of them, but demanded payment for all 4.
I wrote to them time and time again, and nobody bothered to reply. They just kept sending demands for more money.
Finally, they did get in contact through a debt collection agency.
From looking at paying £12 for 2 books, the account over a year had gone up to £287 by the time the debt collection agency had added on their fees.
Amanda eventually contacted Trading Standards, at which point, miraculously, the Arts Guild changed their tune and made her a new offer.
You can choose another 2 books as part of your introductory offer. Basically, you can start again, which is fine, except now I don't really want any more books from them.
I don't know if you've read the Da Vinci Code, but it's a mystery. And how these book clubs work is a bit of a mystery until you start to look carefully at the books. And this is where it gets like the climax of an Inspector Morse novel. You suddenly discover they're all the same company. These clubs, and 16 others like them, are all run by book club associates. We've had hundreds of complaints about BCA, and to its credit, the Direct Marketing Association threatened to expel them for the same reason. And they're the ones who regulate the junk mail industry.
I've been taken for a ride, I've been tracked.
I can't get them to stop sending me books. I can't get them to stop demanding money. It's incredibly frustrating, and frankly something should be done about it.
Just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I never want to use a book club or any type of mail order company again.
Book club associates, even if someone threw the book at them, they'd offer it back at a bargain price.
Paul Heine there. Book Club Associates says it's sorry and thanks Watchdog for bringing these issues to its attention, which it admits are wholly unacceptable. It'll be in touch with our 4 viewers to put things right. It says there's been a period of mistakes and confusion during which it outsourced its customer care. Those problems should now be settling down. It processes 500,000 customer orders and payments each month and seeks to deliver first-class service in all cases.
If you've got a story you want us to investigate, then this is how you tell us. Email us via our website at bbc.co.uk/watchdog or call us on 020 853 51000.
Or, of course, you can write to us, Watchdog, BBC TV, London W1270S.
And thank you for all of your emails last week about our film on Volvo's cutting out. We've had over 100 and we're working our way through them at the moment to see how many of you may be entitled to help with your bills.
And we're looking at gas switching next week. If you're a British Gas customer who's never switched but are thinking you might want to, we'd like to hear from you. Texts.
Lots of interesting texts about Opera Telecom. This one here from Sarah Hill. She's had to phone Opera Telecom several times since starting to receive adult messages. There's been no apology or offer of a refund. She didn't sign up for any contracts with them. I've no idea how to get this money back. Well, Sarah, you could say that you've been watching the programme and write directly to Gary Corbett, that's the Chief Executive, and see if you get any joy that way.
We're back at the same time next week.
Yes, because you can't get voted off this show. But on Thursday, watch out for a fake singer exposed on Just the Two of Us. BBC One at 8 o'clock. Actually, that's something else you can do with your mobile phone. Vote for Nikki. We'll be rooting for you, baby.
Good night.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
I'm going to be hanging out with some big names now, so I'm just getting some practice in. Hello!
Davina meets the biggest names in show business on her brand new chat show. Tomorrow at 8 on BBC One.
I know it sounds like we're being overbearing. We're just saying we've got these promises to keep the place nice and tidy. So just adhere to them or go and work somewhere else, basically.
The Armstrongs, you've got to see it to believe it. Starts tomorrow at 10 on BBC Two. All new DL and Pascoe.
So what's the story? No story there. Oh, come on, Andy. You're the nosiest, most sceptical man in Yorkshire. But you don't seem at all interested in the circumstance of her husband's death.
Unless I've missed something, no murder's been committed in this house.
The case of Houdini's ghost.
The door was locked from the inside. He can't have been murdered. What's she got over you, Andy? What else are you hiding?
DL and Pascoe in the case of Houdini's ghost. Coming soon on BBC One.
Will Mark make Tash feel whole again? Will Jocelyn give Matt the power to be a winner?
can't find the harmony.
Will Martin be giving Gabby the look of love in the show?
Can they sound $1 million next to the Masters of Music? Join us to find out on Just the Two of Us, Thursday at 8, live on BBC One.
Competition for the new consultant's post has tragic consequences, and an old face is back to raise the temperature at Holby City here on BBC One in half an hour.